Got a great question in email, and she writes, how much of a surplus do women need to see sizable gains? A lot of women, in my experience, keep in mind this is my experience, if yours is different, that's totally cool. But in my experience, a lot of women write to me on a daily basis saying they want to gain muscle, but they aren't sure how much to eat. And if they know how much to eat, they're afraid to eat that much because they think that overeating a lot is going to cause them to get fat. And that's a very real fear. Men have the same fear. So here's what I typically recommend for women when it comes to the caloric surplus. I tend to recommend about 200 to 300 calories above maintenance, and that's it. I don't recommend much more than that for a few reasons. Number one, if you've done any reading and you understand physiology at all, women don't produce near as much testosterone as men. So their ability for muscle gains is significantly less in terms of total muscle mass gained over a lifetime. The other issue is women's bone structures are typically smaller. So joint size is smaller than their counterparts. And because men have bigger bone structures and bigger joints, they tend to be able to gain more muscle mass than women. The other reason is because if you eat above and beyond a certain amount and your surplus is, let's say, 500 or 1,000 calories, only so much of that is going to go towards rebuilding muscle tissue. And the rest of it is just going to be stored as body fat, or it's going to be stored as glycogen in your muscles from excess carbohydrates. Now, how do you determine which one's stored as fat and which one's stored as glycogen? Well, you can't really, because once you go over in a surplus, your body's going to store what it wants to. You really have no say over that. So when it comes to how much a woman should eat, I think 200 to 300 calories above maintenance. I think the diet should be primarily focused on carbohydrates, fairly low fat. And when I say fairly low, I mean somewhere around 15 to 20% of your total caloric intake. And then, of course, protein should be about 1 gram per pound of body weight or slightly less than that. One more thing I will mention is that the 200 to 300 calorie surplus is just on training days only. So that's, if you're training 3 days a week, that means you're going to have 200 to 300 calories above maintenance on those days only. So 600 to 900 calories by the end of the week. On the days that you're not training or the days that you're doing cardio, I think it's safe to just keep it at around maintenance intake. And then that should help you prevent fat gains, but still make muscle gains in the process. Thank you so much for watching. Creating videos like this is a lot of fun, but it also takes a lot of time. So I would appreciate if you would share it with your friends, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Just the Tip.